Hello everybody, this is the 2018 War of the Ring World Tournament Grand Finals game. This is your host Will, and let's get started. We have a game today with Jason, also known as Saved by Him 1 on Board Game Geek. He will be playing the Shadow Player, and he will be playing against PeterM as a Free Folk. The initial draws they have is Kindred of Glorfindel, which allows him to recruit one elven unit in Rivendell, and the Dead Men of Dunharrow. The Shadow Player here luckily drew the Fighting Virakai, which is a really good card, which allows an Isengard unit to besiege a stronghold for 3 turns without having to downgrade. And Mortal Wound, which is also very good. Jason allocates 1 eye, ends up rolling another, and he rolls quite well actually. He has 3 muster armies, 1 army, and a single Palantir die. The Free People also roll, and also get a really good roll. 2 characters, a Palantir, and army movement. A good mix of everything. The Free People decide to pass, and so let's see what Jason does. He decides to move Isengard to war. And in reaction, Peter plays a card, recruiting 1 elven unit in Rivendell and drawing a strategy event card. In addition, because Gandalf is the guide, he gets to draw an additional card, Dane Ironfoot's Guard, which is really good. If the Shadow ever decides to go north and head for the Dew Line, and decides to attack Erebor, playing this card will really disincentivize him from taking another Dwarven stronghold. Jason plays a muster die and moves Sauron to war. Peter plays a character and decides to move the Fellowship, which is pretty standard. Usually you want to move at least once or twice per round, or else you'll never stand a chance of dunking the ring. Jason rolls and fails to find those hobbits. And Jason now musters in Isengard and brings in Saruman and Orthanc. Peter decides to move the Fellowship again. Rolls a 6. And gets a hit and draws an eye from the hunt pool, meaning that the Fellowship is going to have to take 1 damage and reveal itself, or maybe perhaps randomly kill a companion. The Fellowship decides to reveal themselves in High Pass, avoiding the Moria route, which means that the shortest route they will have to take is an 11-move route instead of a 10-move route going through Moria. The Shadow Player plays Mortal Wound, dealing 2 damage to the Fellowship. Devastating. And here, Peter reacts by moving 2 armies, moving an army from Carrick to the Old Forest Road, and moving from Edoras to Westmint. Next, Jason moves 2 armies from Barad-dûr to Gongaroth, and from Far Harad to Near Harad. Great name, right? That's the end of the round, and they draw 2 new cards. Axe and Bow by the Free People, and the Power of Tom Bombadil, both very good defensive cards. This card allows the Free People to advance the north by 1 and prevents the Shadow from attacking this area without first discarding an action die and removing 2 cards. And let's see what the Shadow draws. The Horde from the east, which allow him to recruit 5 units either in East Rune or South Rune, which sets up a really nice attack for the Dew Line. And the Black Captain Commands, which allows him to recruit 2 Nazgul, or move any Nazgul. Here, standardly, Jason allocates one eye, rolls an eye, and ends up rolling pretty decent. Probably a little bit too many Palantirs for my taste. Ooh, but free people do not roll very well with all musters and army movements. The Free Fellowship passes, and so the Shadow Army moves from Dol Guldur to Eastern Mirkwood, going for that fast dew line attack. Probably with the Horde from the East card, as previously drawn. Peter passes again. Oh wait, no, he changes his mind. No, he passes. And so Jason plays a card. Or no, he draws a card. The Fellowship moves Gondor down one, down the political track. And now he attacks the Old Forest Road, activating and moving the North Army down one. He does not play a card. But the free people do. They play an advantageous position, which subtracts 1 from all the dice they roll. Nice. Which this comes in clutch. Jason rolls a 6, but... Oh wait, no, that does not. So he still rolls a hit, and he rolls a hit back, so they both each get 1. Peter moves them north again, 1 down. And Jason moves, attacks Dale with no card, pushing Dale, the Northmen, to war. And the North plays a card, Confusion. For every 1 that the Shadow rolls in his combat roll, it's a hit against himself. He rolls 1 hit against himself and no hits against the free people. And the Fellowship rolls an attack, 2 hits against the Shadow. Jason decides to continue attacking, and the Fellowship retreats into northern Ronavane, perhaps trying to take over Dol Guldur. He advances his entire army, and the current action ends. The Fellowship moves a Northman towards Dol Guldur, perhaps trying to get a free stronghold. The Fellowship only ever needs 4 points to win, and if he takes this one, it could come in clutch. Musters a single Sauron Elite or a single Sauron Regular, and then 1 leader in Minas Morgul. Peter moves an additional 2 armies, moving the army from here back to the Old Forest Road, and moving the Elite from Weather Hills to Trollshalls. Here, the Shadow plays Hill Trolls, which allows him to replace any 2 regulars with 2 elites. He places them in Dale. And so the new round begins. The Fellowship is still revealed with 3 damage, with the Shadow player having 1 point, overtaking Dale. The Shadow player draws Pits of Mordor, which allows them to recruit 2 regulars and 3 different strongholds, and the Breaking of the Fellowship. So if the Fellowship doesn't hide this turn, he's going to have to separate a lot of characters. The free people draw the Red Arrow, which is very good, but the Gondor is not at war, unfortunately, and the Ents, allowing him to attack Orthanc if it's unprotected, and kill. The Fellowship roll pretty unluckily again, rolling mostly musters and only 1 character. And here, the Fellowship decide to reinforce Woodland Realm and puts in another elite, also in Rivendell. Oh, or maybe not. He decides to put the regular into Erebor. Here, the Shadow player plays a card, the Breaking of the Fellowship. Yep, I knew it. He's going to have to draw a tile. Unfortunately for him, he draws a 0, so no companions have to separate. Peter recruits an elite into Carrick. And now, pressed for time, the Shadow decides to go to the Old Forest Road, which may not be the best idea, because now free people can put a unit into Dale, activating Dale again. He musters an elite into Carrick again, so now there's 2 elites. An army is brewing. Shadow player musters in the Witch King, activating all nations, and gives Shadow player an additional die, which is very useful. Actions are very important in this game. Peter passes, and Jason plays a card. And he recruits 2 Nazgul, and is he going to attack? Yes, he will. And he will play a card. Let's see what these combat effects are. Onslaught, and the red arrow. So basically, he gets to retreat. And he retreats into North Morwood, perhaps trying to reinforce Erebor. He is definitely making the Dew line very, very hard to take. The Fellowship plays a card, or plays a die, plays a character die, and hides Fellowship. Or actually, what does he do? He uses a ring to changes it to an army movement, and decides to move 2 armies, some into the Woodland Realm and 1 back into Dale. The Shadow Army looks like it's playing Ring Around the Rosie in the Dew line here. Moves, puts a guy in Umbar. Perhaps he has the Corsairs in his hand. He does not, so he's probably a bluff, hoping that Peter overcommits and puts down Gondor instead of focusing on the Dew line. He attacks Dale from the Old Forest Road. No card, no card. He rolls 2 hits, killing the guy in Dale. And Peter rolls nothing, no hits. Finally, he does his final action to play a card. 2 in 3 strongholds. In Dolgodor, Moria, and Morannon. And that's the round.